Okay, so what we're going to do in today's video is I'm going to talk about something that I've recently discovered. Now, this isn't like a big wow, guys, you've never heard anything along these lines before, but what it is it's a bit of an attention to detail that I think most of you that have been trying to improve your downswing will kind of go, okay, that should make a big difference. Now, the thing that's prompted this video, or this more sort of recent discovery, is a couple of things. One, I recently had a student, and I documented it before and after in a recent golf lesson, where his golfer had been swinging over the top, and we kind of broke it down, and over a period of a golf lesson managed to rectify that problem. And then that was followed the following evening actually with somebody who was quite new to the game and had sort of built-in habits of hitting the golf ball in sort of typical over-the-top fashion, and again was trying to sort of just break down some of the fundamental movements. And again, I think, you know, it got me sort of thinking and prompting it. And finally, what I've also been doing, and if any of you are interested, you're more than welcome to join with my online academy. I've kind of been creating these step-by-step guides, and I think the most important and the first rule that I always teach my students is understand the pivot. Because if you don't pivot very well, then it doesn't matter what you try to do with your hands and arms, it will never come to fruition. So understanding a good pivoting action is really key. Now, those of you that have watched the channel will know that I talk about the pivot very often, and to sort of oversimplify it, what I always talk about is the feeling of the pelvis moving to the left and your head staying still. And when you sort of do this, what you should have the ability to do is drop the shoulder down. So you end up looking this way, as opposed to most typical amateur golfers end up looking this way. However, that being said, I don't think it's quite enough, okay? Now, the reason for this, the reason why I don't think it's quite enough is because I think it gets still slightly misinterpreted. So if I sort of put, actually I won't even put the club, I'm going to put my hands to the side of me so it's not distracting. So this would be me sort of moving the pelvis to the left and my shoulder down. But I don't think that is the move. I think what we're ultimately looking for is the pelvis to the left and the shoulder down. And see the way now I'm going more up. Now we could say that there's an element of extension happening here. We could say that might feel like there's a little bit more side bend here. But hopefully you can kind of see the difference between this and this. Now, the reason why the latter, and I would say that the expression of being more up is important, is because, again, what's really important to understand, and if you can feel it to some degree, is a bit of kinetics. It's how we're applying energy towards the golf club. And for golfers that always swing over the top or out to in, or you suffer with a flip, you're always applying too much energy on an outward fashion this way, and you're not applying enough energy, should we say, upward to allow the club to downcock. Do you see what I mean? So it's more this way, club drops down, not sort of this way, club goes out. And that's a high percentage of golfers. So it's very important to understand the difference between something just like this and actually going more upward. Now, the drill, I've talked about this sort of stuff before in analogies, but the drill that really prompted it for two golfers, the one golfer that I used in a lesson, what we did is we placed a box, and you could use your golf bag, and we put it to the left side of him, so your lead side, and that kind of encouraged him to think more about his hands going up and not around, like so. Around, hitting the box out over the top. Up allows the club to downcock, and that was kind of like a big part of that golf lesson. And then another drill you could do is, if you get yourself against the wall at home, is just sort of retract your left arm behind your head and then have a little look and go, how high are you? And then ask yourself the question, could you go any higher? And what you'll find is the answer should be yes. And the way you do it is this upward type of motion. So what I would propose is that you practice that type of feeling. Okay, so shoulder down motion, and then make it a little bit more upward. I'd also suggest that you practice on the wall, because you really need that upward motion. Now, I had a great couple of questions recently. Somebody who subscribed to the channel, and one of the questions was, well, when I start trying to do things like drop my shoulder down, how do I refrain from doing things like hitting the ground early, or aren't we supposed to strike down on the ball? And I think that's, again, a bit of a missing understanding. What should happen to control your good ball striking is that in the downswing, your hand should progress over the ball, and then from this position, the handle should go up as the club downcocks on the back of the ball, and that's what helps you create that sort of compression. okay, hands going more this way, club down cocks, as opposed to most amateur golfers sort of hit it more like imagine you were like trying to play like a bunker shot or a lob shot. The club goes down like so, and then you sort of add loft to it, so you're kind of hitting it like this. We want to hit it more up and this way. And the other question was about balance, and stated that, struggle with balance in the golf swing, and this would be exactly the reason why. Because amateur golfers move more this way. You move more towards the ball, and then you try and finish the swing, and you'll be, if I'm moving close to the ball, I'm always going to be off balance. And if you can learn this type of simple exercise, like this, hands climbed up the wall, see the difference in my footwork? Not just this. So for many of you that have been experimenting with the golf swing over your years, should notice a significant difference, hopefully in the explanation, but also when you get the opportunity to practice the drill. And it's something that I'd strongly suggest, because like I say, with this step-by-step program that I've been writing for golfers to learn how to hit the golf ball correctly, the rule one is understand the pivot, particularly in the downswing. And it's this type of motion. And that helps us do this, and then release the club applicably. So practice the wall drill. Let me know how you're getting on, and I'll see you guys again really soon.